Right now, in this very moment, you are thinking about stopping. You are thinking about walking away. You are sitting with that heavy, unbearable weight on your chest, the one that whispers to you late at night when the world is quiet and your mind is loud. The weight that says, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you've already tried too hard. Maybe it's time to let it go. And before you do, I need you to stay with me. I need you to keep watching this video, because what you are about to hear could be the one thing that stands between where you are right now and the life you have been fighting so hard to reach. Don't scroll away. Don't close this tab. Give yourself the next few minutes, because you owe yourself that much. You have come too far to quit now. And by the time this is over, you are going to understand something that most people never get to understand until it's too late. You are closer than you think. Let's be honest about where you are right now. Not the version you show on social media, not the face you put on when someone asks how things are going. The real version. The version that wakes up at 3 in the morning and stares at the ceiling, doing math that never adds up. The version that checks the bank account and feels that familiar drop in the stomach. The version that looks around and wonders why everyone else seems to be moving forward while you feel completely, utterly stuck. You are behind on bills, or you are deep in debt and you don't know how you got there, and you definitely don't know how to get out. Or maybe money isn't the issue. Maybe the issue is that you've been working on something for so long, a dream, a business, a goal, a relationship with your own potential, and you have nothing visible to show for it, nothing that the world would call success. And every single day you ask yourself the same crushing question, is it even worth continuing? I want you to hear something right now. That question, that painful, exhausting question, is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you care deeply. It is a sign that you are still fighting, even when fighting feels like losing. The people who truly don't care never ask that question. They just walk away quietly. You are still here. You are still asking. That means something. That means everything. Think about the last time things felt impossible. Maybe it was 6 months ago. Maybe it was last week. Maybe it is right now. You tried something and it didn't work. You put yourself out there and got nothing back. You made a plan and the plan collapsed. You believed in something and it let you down. And the worst part, the part that cuts the deepest, is not even the failure itself. It's the silence after. The way life keeps moving around you while you're standing there, broken, wondering if you're the only one who can't seem to figure this out. You're not. You are not the only one who has felt this way. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. What you are is a human being in the middle of something hard, which means you are exactly where growth happens, not before the struggle, not after the struggle. Right here, in the middle of it. Here is something nobody tells you when you are in the middle of it. Progress almost never looks like progress while it's happening. A seed underground doesn't look like a tree. It looks like nothing. It looks like dirt. But something extraordinary is happening beneath the surface. Roots are forming. Foundations are being laid. Structures are being built that the eye cannot see. And then one day, almost without warning, something breaks through. And what looks like sudden success to the outside world is actually the result of 100 invisible days of work that nobody witnessed and nobody celebrated. Your invisible days are not wasted. They are the roots. Don't quit now. There's a lady you may have heard of named J.K. Rowling. Before she became one of the most beloved authors in history, before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon that would change the landscape of literature and cinema, she was sitting in a small Edinburgh cafe writing by hand on napkins because she couldn't afford a typewriter. She was a single mother. She was clinically depressed. She was surviving on government welfare. She had been rejected by 12 major publishing houses, 12, each one telling her in different ways that her story wasn't good enough, that children didn't want to read long books, that nobody would care. 12 times she was told no. 12 times the world looked at everything she had poured her heart into and said, this is not worth our time. And she kept going. Not because she was fearless, not because she had a support system rallying behind her. She kept going because somewhere, beneath all the rejection and the poverty and the exhaustion of raising a child alone, she believed that the story mattered. She kept going because she had a daughter she wanted to make proud. She kept going because some part of her, some stubborn, unbreakable, irrational part of her, refused to accept that her lowest moment was her final moment. The 13th publisher said yes, the rest is history. Not just her history, the history of an entire generation of readers who grew up believing in magic, in courage, in the power of love over fear. None of that exists if she quits after the 12th rejection. None of it. And you would never know what the world lost, because you never see the things that never happen. You are closer than you think. Now let's talk about something that is silently destroying more potential than any failure ever could. Let's talk about comparison. You open your phone, you see someone your age, someone you went to school with, someone you barely know, and they are buying a house, they are launching a business, they are getting married, traveling the world, posting photos of a life that looks effortless and golden and full. And you sit there in your struggle, in your ordinary Tuesday, and you feel something dark and heavy settle into your chest. Why them? Why not me? What am I doing wrong? Here is what you are not seeing. You are not seeing the 3 failed attempts that came before the success they posted. You are not seeing the debt they are carrying behind the smiling photos. You are not seeing the relationship they are in that is slowly falling apart, or the anxiety that keeps them up at night despite everything looking perfect from the outside. You are not seeing the full picture, because no one ever posts the full picture. What you are doing, measuring your behind the scenes against someone else's highlight reel, is one of the most unfair and destructive things you can do to yourself. And yet we all do it. We all fall into that trap. The trap of thinking that because someone else is ahead, we are somehow failing. As if life is a race with one finish line and limited seats at the table. Life is not that. Success is not that. Your path is not comparable to anyone else's path, because no one has ever walked your exact road, with your exact history, carrying your exact weight, starting from your exact beginning. The comparison is not just unfair, it is literally meaningless. You cannot lose a race you were never entered in. Run your own race, at your own pace, on your own road. This is not the end. Let's talk about the moment right before the breakthrough, because this is the cruelest part of the journey, and it's the part most people never survive. Not because they give up, but because they give up too soon. There is a story from the world of mining, the story of R.U. Darby, told by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. Darby was a man who caught gold fever during the Great Gold Rush. He and his uncle staked a claim, bought equipment, and began digging. They found a vein of ore. It was gold. They were going to be rich. They sent the equipment back to get more machinery. They brought in help. They worked with the frantic energy of men who could see their fortune in front of them. And then the vein stopped. The gold disappeared. They dug further, nothing. They dug deeper, nothing. Exhausted and defeated, they sold their equipment for a few $100s to a junk dealer and walked away. The junk dealer hired a mining engineer who looked at the situation and said something that should haunt anyone who has ever quit. The vein of gold had stopped 3 feet from where Darby had given up. 3 feet. Darby had been 3 feet from one of the richest gold strikes in American history. 3 feet. Think about that. 3 feet, not miles, not years. 3 feet of additional effort separated him from everything he had been working and dreaming and sacrificing for. And he didn't know. He couldn't know. And so he walked away. The question you have to sit with today is this. Are you 3 feet away? Are you standing at the edge of your own breakthrough and calling it the end? Are you about to walk away from 3 feet of gold? Don't quit now. Burnout is real. Exhaustion is real. Let's not pretend this is simple. Let's not pretend that just keep going is easy advice to follow when you are running on empty, when you haven't slept properly in weeks, when the people around you don't understand what you are building or why you bother, when you feel profoundly, devastatingly alone in your ambition. There are days when keeping going takes everything you have, days when simply getting out of bed is the victory, days when choosing not to quit is the most courageous act available to you, even though it doesn't feel courageous. It feels small, it feels pointless. It feels like survival rather than progress. Those days count. Those days count just as much as the days when everything flows and the work feels effortless and you remember exactly why you started. The ugly, grinding, barely functional days are not failures. They are the testimony of someone who refused to stop when stopping would have been so much easier. Resting is not quitting. Slowing down is not quitting. Taking a breath, stepping back, adjusting your direction, none of that is quitting. Quitting is deciding that your dream is not worth another step. And as long as you are still in this, as long as you are still moving, even slowly, even stumbling, even crawling on your hands and knees, you have not quit. Keep crawling if you have to, but keep moving. There is another story that deserves to be told. A story about a man who failed at nearly everything before he succeeded at everything. Before Walt Disney built the most magical entertainment empire in the history of the world, before the theme parks and the films and the characters that have lived in the hearts of generations, he was a young man who was fired from a newspaper. The editor told him he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. He was told he wasn't creative enough. He started a company called Laugh-O-Gram Studios. It went bankrupt. He moved to Hollywood with $40 in his pocket. He was rejected by every major studio. He couldn't afford food. He reportedly ate dog biscuits to survive. He had a nervous breakdown. At his absolute lowest, he wrote a letter home admitting he didn't know if he was going to make it. And then he created Mickey Mouse, and everything changed. But here is what we miss when we tell this story quickly. It wasn't one comeback. It wasn't one moment of sudden inspiration that reversed everything. It was years of relentless continuation, despite overwhelming evidence that he should stop. It was choosing, again and again, through the bankruptcy and the rejection and the nervous breakdown and the dog biscuits, to believe that the next idea might be the one that changes everything. Mickey Mouse was not born from a moment of genius. Mickey Mouse was born from a man who refused to stay down. You have a Mickey Mouse inside you. You have something that the world has not seen yet, something that exists only in you, that can only come out if you keep going. The world does not get to have it if you quit. And we will never know what we lost, because we never see the things that never happen. You're closer than you think. Let's talk about what belief actually means. Real belief, not the Instagram caption version. Real belief is not the feeling that you are going to make it. Real belief is choosing to act as if you are going to make it, even when you don't feel it at all. Real belief is doing the work when you are terrified it won't matter. It's sending the application when you expect to be rejected. It's writing the next page when you're sure no one will ever read it. It's making the call, taking the step, trying one more time, not because you feel confident, but because you have decided that your future is worth more than your fear. You have been brave before. Think about it. Think about the things you have survived, that you were sure would break you. Think about the days you didn't think you'd get through that you did somehow get through. The losses, the disappointments, the nights that felt endless and the mornings that came anyway. You have a track record of surviving hard things. Every single hard thing that has come at you, you are still here. That is not luck. That is strength. Quiet, unrecognized, underestimated strength. Trust that strength now. There is one more story, perhaps the most powerful of all. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty in rural Mississippi. She was abused as a child. She became pregnant at 14 and lost the baby. She was fired from her first television job, a news anchor position, because the producer said she was unfit for television. She was told she was too emotional, too heavy, too much of everything and not enough of anything that the industry wanted. She kept going. Today, she is one of the most influential human beings who has ever lived. Not because life was easy on her, because she was harder on life than life was on her. Because somewhere in the middle of everything the world threw at her, she made a decision, a quiet, immovable, unshakable decision, that the story of her life was not going to be written by the people who doubted her. She was going to write it herself. You get to write your story. Not the critics, not the doubters, not the person who passed you over or overlooked you or told you it wasn't possible. You. Every day you keep going is another page of a story that is not finished yet. This is not the end, so here is where we are. You came into this video feeling tired, maybe feeling defeated, maybe standing at the edge of giving something up that part of you still desperately wants. And I need you to hear this last part, not as motivational filler, but as something true and worth carrying with you. The fact that you are struggling does not mean you are failing, it means you are in it. The fact that it's hard does not mean it's wrong. Some of the best things in life are extraordinarily, relentlessly hard before they become beautiful. The fact that it's taking longer than you planned does not mean it's not happening. It means it's being built properly, with the kind of foundation that doesn't collapse the moment the wind picks up. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late, and you are not too far gone, and you are not out of chances. You are a person in the middle of something that matters, which is exactly where change happens, exactly where growth lives, exactly where the people who eventually look back with gratitude found themselves before everything shifted. One more day, that's all, not forever. Not until every doubt disappears. Just one more day, one more step, one more attempt, one more version of yourself that chooses to show up despite everything screaming at you to stop, because you are closer than you think. Not as a slogan, not as something nice to say, as a real, verifiable, historically proven truth. The people who made it were almost always the people who stayed in it just a little bit longer than the moment when quitting felt inevitable. Be that person. Choose to be that person today. Before you close this video, I want you to do something. Not something dramatic, just this. Take one action today. One small, specific, concrete action in the direction of the thing you almost gave up on. Not a 10-step plan, not a grand gesture. One step: send the email, write the paragraph, make the call, apply for the opportunity. Pick up the project. One step. Because momentum doesn't start with a perfect plan, it starts with a single movement. And a single movement, made on a day when everything in you wanted to be still, is one of the most powerful things a human being can do. If this video reached you at the right moment, if something in here landed somewhere important, share it with someone who needs it. Someone who is sitting in their own struggle right now, wondering if it's worth continuing. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do for each other is hand someone a reason to hold on. Like this video. Subscribe if you want more of this. But more than any of that, keep going. The world needs what only you can build. The story is not over. The gold is 3 feet away. The breakthrough is closer than it looks from the bottom. Don't quit. You're closer than you think.